Hi, I'm Melanie from Nova Scotia, Canada, and this is Adventures in Groceryland. This is the week 10 meal video of our $21 grocery budget challenge. There are two of us. We each have a $21 budget. So that means our grand total weekly budget is $42. We had some really great meals this week. They were actually pretty exciting. Got to try some new things, new to us things, which I always like, and they turned out really well. Check out the meals and stay tuned to the end because I'm going to talk about next week and how things are going to be a little bit different. We are going to attempt grilled cheese with this shredded cheese that we have. It begins like this. This is the nacho. I'm adding on the provolone, mozzarella, parmesan next, and then top it with the other piece of bread. I love my new little Christmas frying pan. I just flipped it. Looking good, nice and golden. Sometimes I let it go a little too long and it gets a little more than nice and golden and it gets nice and blackened. My preference is golden. Ooey gooey perfection. Woo. For supper tonight, we are going to have chili cheese fries. This is chili that I made, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, maybe week 2 or 3, something like that. It's been in the freezer, so we're just going to get this thawed out. We're going to make home fries, and we're going to have cheese. Yummy! All right, we'll just add a little bit of canola oil. Toss these so everything is nice and coated. I've got the chili thawed enough that I was able to get it into a bowl. Now I am just going to finish thawing it in the microwave. Okay, the fries are done. I opened up the triple cheddar, grated cheese. I feel like cheddar feels like the right option to choose for chili cheese fries. And a little bit more over here. All right. This looks great. But what I'm going to do, see how the cheese isn't quite melted? I'm going to put each one in the microwave for just 10 to 15 seconds just to give that little bit of extra melt to the pre-grated cheese. Looks delicious. This is a great way or a great reason to save just a little bit of chili from a previous week and use it in a really interesting and different way. We are going to make goulash for supper tonight. I need to thaw this. This is pre-cooked ground beef. It was the other half of the pound from when I made the spaghetti. I have to look up my recipe. I do know that it calls for beef broth. I can't remember if it calls for anything else. I am going to put in a couple of those cheese slices. So once the noodles cook, I'll put the cheese slices in first so that they melt, and then I'll add the rest of the stuff in. This is my bouillon cube, my last one. So we are going to make beef broth because we are going to need that in the recipe. I've got the pot on the stove. As soon as this comes to a boil, we'll get the elbow macaroni noodles into it. I've drained the macaroni. I am going to add in the cheese. I chose 2 of the thick sliced sharp cheddar and 1 of the thin regular. I'm going to get these in right now. I am just going to bury them under some hot noodles, and that will help to melt them. Hot on the top, hot on the bottom. Okay, so let's see. Oh, this is melting. Perfect. Perfect. See that? See that, how it's melting. Excellent. So let's get this stirred in. And then we can add in the other ingredients. This just gives it a really cheesy flavor. Long ago, so I learned of this trick of melting cheese slices in here. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar, if you use cookbooks, But back in the day, so I'm a bit older, back in the day, there was a series of cookbooks, and I think the author was Jean Pare, P-A-R-E, Pare, and they were called Company's Coming. Company's Coming, and I loved those cookbooks. I was new out on my own, and I had Company's Coming casseroles, and it taught me how to make, taught me a lot, taught me how to make tuna casserole, and part of the recipe was adding cheese slices in to the macaroni and letting it melt, and that made it really cheesy. I don't have any of those cookbooks anymore. I'm long past that, but I would highly recommend, if you are looking to expand your culinary expertise, your kitchen expertise, and you see anything like that around, yard sale, used bookstore, I highly recommend them. They were very excellent cookbooks. I added in the pre-cooked ground beef, giving that a good stir now. I'm going to add in some of the beef broth. Perfect. I need to get the diced tomatoes in there, the mushrooms. Tomatoes are in. It's still stirring everything. The burner's hot, but if I could put this back now that it's got some liquid in there, I don't have to worry about it scalding to the bottom, so I can put it back on the burner and give it a good stir. But the burner's off. It's just still hot. This looks amazing. Smells great. The handsome one and I are both extremely hungry. Very much looking forward to this. Goulash. Yummy. This looks so good. I'm going to top with some triple cheddar. And we're going to throw these in the microwave just for like 15 seconds or so to get this melted. And then we are going to have little feasts. Perfect. This looks so good. Yummy. Delicious looking. I can't wait to try it. I'm actually really, really hungry. Tasty garden salads. Yummy. Leftover goulash tonight, but I almost forgot to take the video. The handsome one had a special request tonight, and it was to use the smoke flavored cheddar on top of the goulash. This goulash was so good. I cannot even begin to share how good it was. Both of us thought it was amazing. And it's such a simple meal. Smoothies for lunch today, and that will be the end of this bag. That will be the end of the mixed fruit, and I will need to think of another plan if we want to continue to have smoothies moving forward. Okay, here we go. That's the frozen fruit. This is looking good. You can see that there. It's running nice and smooth. These ones are really, really purple. What was left in that bag, so when I dumped it in, it was just some remnants of raspberries. There were no strawberries. There were no blackberries. But it was remnants of raspberries and actual whole blueberries. So I'm not surprised this has more of a purple hue. Smoothies for lunch. This Marie Callender's cheesy chicken and broccoli is an item that we've had probably since week 1 or week 2. And it is designed as a meal to share. So meals to share, which is how we had it. We just had it as our meal the first time that we cooked it. This time we want to do something a little different. We want to use this kind of as a side and have it as a side over 2 different meals. Tonight, we are going to have it with some of these sausages. I'm actually pretty excited about this. Yeah. The instructions show 2 options, microwave or convection oven or conventional oven. And so we are going to just pop this in the oven. I've got it on a baking tray right now. And it is still really cold here, so we're not going to barbecue the sausages. When this is, I'm going to say 3/4 of the way being cooked, I'm going to throw some of those sausages on a baking tray and just throw them in the oven as well. Just popped in the sausages. The Marie Callender has been in there for 35 minutes. sausages and riced cauliflower and broccoli chicken casserole for the side. Handsome one is going to be home soon, so this one is his. I've already got mine cut up. Excited? Looks good. I freeze a lot of broth in little pucks and sometimes in little bricks. I just wanted to show that I am using some of those to start a small soup. We are going to add, of course, this is turkey, onions, carrots, the soup mix, the rice. I pulled this out of the fridge. I'm not 100% committed yet, but I might use some of this pasta sauce just to give the soup a little bit of a different flavoring. Definitely dehydrated celery, some of my spices. Yeah. Okay, here we have broth and water. I just added in the rice. Just added in the soup mix. I'm considering, I think this is chicken breast, and I actually think I have a different bag. I know there's like several turkey bags in the freezer. I think I have a different bag that I set aside more for soup. I'm going to pull that one out. I've added in the carrots and the onions. I have this little bag of frozen corn. That might as well get added in. And I think I'm going to try to cut up a few of the frozen green and yellow beans that I have and throw those in as well. I'm going to dice up some of these beans. This looks great. Very excited. I did add about 1.5 tablespoons of that pasta sauce into here. It's a very thick sauce. So I know that the flavor of that will come through, that tomato flavor. I'm excited. Chicken vegetable rice soup with homemade bread and butter. Yum. Tonight for supper, I am going to try my hand at making this lemon chicken orzo. The recipe calls for boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I have just regular chicken thighs with the skin on and the bone in, but we're going to use that because that's what I have. I am cooking half of the club pack of chicken that I got. This is, I'm certain, more than the pound that I need, but really, like, if the bones come out, then it'll be closer. It's probably about 1.5 pounds. It's probably about 1.5 pounds. Maybe pushing on 2. All right, these are sizzling away. This was 2 minutes on each side. This broth was mixed with 1 3/4 cups of water. And then I'm to add in the orzo. So 1 cup of orzo, tomatoes, and at the end I stir in the spinach. Adding in cherry tomatoes. And I'm going to cover this and simmer for 12 minutes. All right, that's been 12 minutes. The orzo is soft, and now I'm supposed to stir in spinach. It says 4 cups. I don't have 4 cups, but I also don't want to use all that I have. I want to save a little bit left for smoothies and stuff like that. But this is most, so let's get this stirred in. This looks delicious. It literally looks exactly like the picture, except in the picture they kept the little cherry tomatoes whole. I cut mine in half. I just thought that would be better. Yeah, This is exciting. Let's get it plated. This smells delicious, and it is the look of it is very, very appealing. Soup for lunch today. I am also going to get bread and butter again. That was really good yesterday. When I'm looking at the soup, which is extremely good, by the way, I see these little, like, is that rice or barley? Because I didn't put any barley in it. All I put was the wild rice medley, and then that soup. And I thought it was like pea. Like, I don't know. What all was in that soup blend? It's really good. Lemon chicken orzo second night. We actually ended up last night cutting all of the chicken apart just to make sure that it was cooked really, really well. So these aren't full pieces. These are cut pieces. And I did follow it to the cooking instructions, but it really did make a difference, and I needed to cook it much longer because the bone was in. So just on the safe side, what I should have done actually was deboned those thighs before I began. This is the last of the soup. Soup again for lunch today. You can see the bubbles there. Again, I left it on the stove too long, and instead of warming it, it hard boiled it, so it's quite hot. We don't currently have any bread left, so we are going to have it with crackers. Soup and crackers. I need to cook this because I need the actual squash out of it. Cooked squash. All right, the squash is cooked, and we are going to use that squash in conjunction with our oat pancake mix. We are also going to add in nutmeg and cinnamon, and we're going to have some really tasty squash pancakes tonight with our maple syrup that we got for Christmas. I'm pretty excited about this. Cinnamon, nutmeg, syrup, yay! We think this is about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of squash. I say 2 cups. The handsome one thinks it's closer to 1.5. Decided we are going to make a double batch. So we're going to do 2 cups of mix, and this is 2/3 of a cup of water. So that's not 1.5 cups. We'll just use the 2/3 2 times because my mind is just not wrapping around the math, that imperial math. Once we added the squash, everything turned orange. The master pancake flipper. These pancakes look glorious. I am adding on my Hutchinson's maple syrup. So excited. So we had some really great meals this week. It was the first time we'd ever had orzo, either of us. And also it was a new to us epicure meal solution. And we really enjoyed the orzo, number one, and we actually really enjoyed the meal solution. I would do things differently next time. I would definitely pre-bone. So even if I buy chicken thighs that have a bone in it or have skin, we would remove that stuff in advance. I've just been lazy cooking a lot this week, so that was lazy cooking on my part, just leaving that stuff in. And everything turned out really good. The goulash was delicious. We just had some really great meals. The soup was absolutely amazing. Grilled cheese, I love grilled cheese. Quick, easy meal. So yeah, we had some really great meals. Now let's talk about next week. I'm going to be away for work for probably 4 or 5 days. So I'm trying to think in my mind, how am I going to manage this? The handsome one is still going to be eating. I'm still going to buy groceries. I don't know if I'm going to spend the full budget, but I am going to be here for 1, 2, most of 3, not here for the 4th, the 5th, or the 6th, and home sometime on the 7th. So I'll be here for half of the week, and he will be here for the full week. I think I'll probably just go with just spend the regular budget. Maybe I'll do something a little different. I actually have an idea. The handsome one has an a closed epicure party. So that means he has rewards and he hasn't redeemed them yet. So maybe what I'll do this week is I will redeem those, get those ordered, and that can come out of this week's budget. And then whatever the difference is, I'll just spend in cash. That's a good idea. So if you have suggestions on what you think that I should get, because I have some ideas. We have no guacamole seasoning. So we have just been kind of mashing up avocados. That's definitely going to be on my list. A couple things that I'd really like to have and bring into the challenge. So that would be really great. I got to think about it. Thinking jar spices. So if you guys are familiar with Epicure, let me know in the comments what you think I should get. I think he's got about $35 worth plus a half price item. And I was thinking in my mind for the half price item, what I would do is get one of those mix and matches where you can get meal solutions, but just one of each meal solution. And the minimum quantity that you can do that with is 5. So I'm pretty set. That's what my half price item is going to be. But what do you think that I should spend the money on? I think that's what I'm going to do. So yes, so I'm going to be away. We'll ask the handsome one to take pictures of his meals. That may or may not happen. So be understanding when the meal video comes out that it may not be what you're used to. But he does pretty good when I'm not here. He doesn't usually take videos, but he does take pictures. So check out this week. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I would appreciate it if you would do so. It would help me. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend.